and do a quick little YouTube live going over the updates with our storm system that is passing through the area. Most of the moisture did fall yesterday afternoon into the evening hours, but we will continue to see scattered to widespread showers and thunderstorms throughout the region today. So I wanted to jump in and, like I said, just take a quick look at that. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes. What I will do is show you, let's go to current conditions across the area and show you some pretty nice views, especially from the Butte camera. We've been quite treated to some unique sights from that camera this morning with multiple layers of clouds in the lower atmosphere. It's been kind of fun to watch it all morning. So I'm just going to check a few things here behind the scenes, and we'll get started here. I'd say probably about 30 seconds to a minute or so, and we'll run from there. All right, I think I have everything running the way that I need it to. Yes, it does look like we are in good shape. So, I know we'll have some people working their way in, kind of coming in and coming out, going out. But let's get started with the update for this morning, and we'll get things underway. As you're tuning in, certainly let us know where you're tuning in from, what kind of weather conditions you're seeing out your window, and are you ready for these showers and thunderstorms to continue, or are you more looking for some warmer weather, more typical summer weather for what we could expect? Certainly feel free to ask or answer that question in the chat section. And if you have any questions or comments as we go throughout this, certainly feel free to ask those in there, and I'll keep an eye on that second screen. And I'd say let's get started. So spinning this back around, we are seeing this large trough of low pressure over the area. We're still in this southwesterly flow from it, and as I let this play out and zoom out a little bit further, you can see how deep this trough is. It's actually starting to cut off. We're going to have two pieces of energy. The main one dropping down to the south will continue to march its way south, eventually cutting off from the flow. You can start seeing this right in here, or at least this northwesterly flow right here. That's going to essentially break this trough into two pieces. The first of which, again, is that southern one, but there's also another one closer to home. You see a little bit of a spin here in northwestern Montana. That's the piece that's brought us the moisture over the last, say, 36 hours or so. We're going to continue to see the showers and storms due to this trough of low pressure and that little low pressure center in there as we go throughout the afternoon. Now, going into our look at current radar, right now showers are quite spotty. We've seen those primarily in northwest Montana as compared to elsewhere, though you see a few spotty showers as I zoom in here a little bit closer here just east of Paradise Valley, south of Livingston. A few showers stretching from really the state line here west of Lima up through the Big Hole Pass area, and then north and east from there, north of Dillon and east of the mining city. Got some more shower activity back along Interstate 90 here between Superior and Missoula, really more like Superior to Frenchtown, where we're seeing this. This is all going to be lifting off to the east and northeast. Some of this, depending on how far east it goes, may try and work its way into areas closer into the Missoula Valley. Like we're seeing Alberton's getting some of those showers. Frenchtown, you'll likely get at least a couple of sprinkles. May try and work its way all the way down into Missoula proper, something we'll keep a close eye on. Still not expecting too much in the way of impact from these outside of some, again, spotty showers. Then we get further north, and right now we are pretty light, maybe some moderate rainfall in the higher elevations right along the state line up here into parts of Mineral, Sanders, and Lincoln counties. But also up here towards Glacier National Park, we've seen a few of those light showers. Would not surprise me to see those intensify a little bit more as we go into the afternoon, and we'll look at Future Tracker here in just a minute to kind of show you how this all likely plays out. Now, again, we started off with this look at our cameras across the area, seeing a fair bit of sunshine for both Missoula and Butte right now. I'll be honest, there's a little bit more sunshine than I was actually expecting we would see. And while that's a really nice thing, that actually could help to build the instability up just a little bit more to where we could see those storms get just a touch stronger this afternoon, especially into southwest Montana. But in general, again, pretty nice conditions. The southwesterly flows kept us mild overnight, and we're in the mid to upper 50s area-wide, 56 Butte, 59 Kalispell, and then 58 for both Missoula and Dillon. Now, as we go later on into the day, we're going to see those temperatures warming their way into the 60s and 70s. Still, temperatures anywhere from about 10 to nearly 15 degrees below average for this time of the year, and maybe even more, like 20 degrees below average up towards Kalispell at 65 degrees. 76 for that high in Missoula, 74 in Butte, and 79 in Bozeman. Greatest coverage of showers and thunderstorms are likely to be in northwest and southwest Montana. You'll see that here in just a moment when we get into Future Tracker. So let's play through this. It's done a pretty good job picking up on the very isolated showers down in southwest Montana. More of that coverage northwest and west central portions of the state. But notice as we go throughout the afternoon, we see more of those yellows and oranges starting to show up. Those are some weak thunderstorms, so a couple of lightning strikes can't be ruled out up into northwest Montana. As we get into closer to that 2 to 3 o'clock, or well, I'd say 1 to 3 o'clock period, I'll give it a little bit more of a range. Southwest Montana will start to see another round of thunderstorms develop, and you can see those on this line roughly from Monida Pass up through Bozeman. And we'll see those continue to strengthen and intensify primarily as they head east, but you notice this is the newest model run. We're seeing the potential of a thunderstorm closer to areas north and east of Butte up towards Townsend, as well as another one in the areas south of Bozeman that'll move up towards Livingston. There is a marginal and slight risk of severe weather really from when you get the marginal risk begins over in Park County towards Livingston, and then it expands off to the east. So you'll notice these storms intensify as they move off to the east and out of our area. But if you have friends and family over towards Lewistown, Billings, give them a heads up. There's another chance for some thunderstorms later on this afternoon. But I'm going to back it up just really quick. I got a little ahead of myself. Looking closer into home, again, few thunderstorms, 30 to 50 mile per hour winds are going to be most likely with these stronger storms that we see down into parts of southwest Montana. Could even see a few of those thunderstorms try to develop back again into northwest Montana. This is looking around 5 o'clock. One area that has been consistently staying dry from the active weather today, really from about the Missoula Valley south through the Bitterroot, and then in some cases down into the Big Hole, though this model is bringing a few more thunderstorms through the Anaconda Pentler Wilderness and then up towards Georgetown Lake. But in general, this zone from Missoula back down into the Bitterroot Valley has trended to be the driest area-wide. Not going to say that we aren't going to see showers and thunderstorms, but it's probably less likely down that part of the US 93 corridor as compared to elsewhere across our region. Now, as we go into tonight, we'll continue to see waves of isolated thunderstorms develop, but notice as we get later into the overnight, this system begins to push off to the east and outside of a few light sprinkles, maybe in northwest and southwest Montana Wednesday morning. This storm system is clearing out. There is the chance of another quick development of some thunderstorms in southwest Montana for Wednesday afternoon, but models have been trending further and further away from that solution since, or even compared to yesterday. So I think for 90 to 95% of western Montana, we're looking at a dry and maybe breezy Wednesday, and that's going to continue to be the trend as we head over the next few days. Now, additional rainfall we could see maybe 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. That would be for places like Kalispell, Bozeman, but that's going to be very dependent on where those showers and thunderstorms develop. We're getting into the phase of this storm system where things are going to be much spottier, so not everybody is going to see rain, and I think in a few areas, including towards Missoula, Hamilton, Butte, We may not see any rain. It just, again, depends right on where those thunderstorms develop. Most likely, though, Bozeman towards Kalispell, we will likely pick up at least a little bit of rainfall. So, again, about a tenth to a quarter of an inch can't be ruled out over the next, say, 18 to 24 hours. All of this is being driven by this trough of low pressure. We were looking at the satellite loop just a moment ago and seeing how one piece of energy is dragging its way down the coast, off the Pacific coast, and it's going to start to essentially cut itself off. We have our trough that's going to continue to move off to the northeast, and then that other piece cuts off. And behind it, as that drops to the south and our system moves off to the east, we'll transition back over to zonal flow, that west to east flow, generally a breezy trend, at least for our region. We likely will see the winds pick up later on this week with that, as this next little trough just starts to move into the region. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to bring us too much in the way of impact, but you notice how there is going to be southwesterly flow Friday into Saturday. That could help to spark off an isolated thunderstorm or two. Excuse me. Down into southwestern Montana, we get a little bit of that moisture to build in, but the ridge off to the east is going to help to warm us up, but we're going to be right on the edge of all of this. So that's going to actually, I'll say, prevent us from necessarily getting too hot. We're going to see those temperatures a decent bit above average in places like Bozeman. Back to the west, we may actually be a few degrees below average. So fortunately, it doesn't look like we're talking about a period of extended heat or even significant heat that's way above average for this time of the year. So that's one thing that's, I'll say, has been a change in comparison to recent summers. I know last year we were in the throes of a major heat wave right now, multiple days over 100 degrees here in Missoula. Doesn't look likely, at least, to see that through at least next week, or at least into next week. That could always certainly change, but I think overall average temperatures are going to help us out. And again, big reason for that, like I was mentioning, we're in this little transition point between the trough of low pressure and the ridge off to the east. So we're not getting the heat dome, and I have used that phrase, that the central United States and the South is going to get. They're going to be scorching, as it looks like, for this weekend and into early next week. So we'll take that. As for those precipitation chances, today is going to be the highest of those, and then we see those drop off quite significantly, though, again, southwest Montana, an isolated shower or thunderstorm can't be ruled out Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Wednesday from the exiting system, Friday and Saturday due to that increasing southwesterly flow. I think northwest and west central Montana, we should stay dry throughout that period once the storm system clears. And again, temperatures, Bozeman's actually going to be one of our, I'll say, hottest spots, or at least most above average locations. We're only seeing temperatures about 5 to 7 degrees above average in that Thursday through Sunday time frame. Temperatures right close to the 90-degree mark. So this is pretty typical for this particular time of the year. The last week of July and the first week of August are climatologically the hottest periods of the year for western Montana. So temperatures right there in the 80s, mid to upper 80s to 90s. Nothing too out of the ordinary as we finish off July and start to enter into August. One note with that, we could see a bit of an increased fire weather concern with the increased temperatures, some of those dry thunderstorms for the latter parts of this week, but also the winds. We're going to see those kicking upwards to about, say, 20 to 30 miles per hour, I think, in a few locations. Just taking a quick look at our fire map, or at least fires within Montana and surrounding areas. We've seen the deer fire bring that acreage burned down to around 75 acres, just as we've gotten better mapping of it. The Carmine Creek is around 4 to 5 acres right now. Our two biggest ones still remain the Big Bear and Rush fires, both over 6,000 acres, I believe, at this point. So southwest Montana, you're likely dealing with continued increased smoke and reduced air quality down in places like Dillon, maybe even into places like Darby and Butte because of those two fires. And yeah, they are both over 6,000 acres. Big Bear is over 7,000 acres. And then we have a few of those fires, more grass fires down into parts of southeastern Montana. A new fire start there in Wyoming, the Red Cabin, and then we've continued to talk about the Hope and Lake Spokane fires that have been helping to bring some smoke into northwest Montana over the last few days. But again, fortunately, we are not dealing with any significant fires in our region outside of these two that are in the are in more wilderness areas and not really affecting too much in the way of population outside of, again, their smoke that they're releasing into the air. Let's see, I think that's about everything that I had. This is actually a little bit out of date, but it gets the right idea. This graphic still says Monday. This is just for Tuesday, so let's just take that out. But showers, storms, and cooler temperatures are going to continue for today. Wednesday, an isolated shower or storm in southwest Montana can't be ruled out, but we'll be just looking at that warming and drying trend. And then as we get into Thursday and Friday, we'll see that zonal flow develop, then followed up by a quick ridge of high pressure and then southwesterly flow. In general, we're going to be still looking at mostly clear, warm, breezy conditions with that isolated chance of a shower or thunderstorm into southwestern Montana. I'd say starting on Friday, more likely, and then continuing into the weekend and early next week. So that is everything that I had for today's update. Again, sort of the last call. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to share those in the, or at least ask those in the chat section. I can answer them here really quick. But as I start to wrap this up, if you have any photos or videos that you'd like to share of these storms, or even just wildlife, anything, I know we've had quite a few pictures of just landscapes and wildlife across the area. It's always great to see those, and sometimes you'll see those on air and online. As for the latest news and weather updates, certainly tune into NBC Montana Live at 5, 6, and 10 this evening, and then tomorrow morning me and Jason Hurst will be back for NBC Montana Today starting at 5. We'll continue that through 7 o'clock. So again, thank you all for tuning in this morning. Have a great day, and if you're out and about, it might not be a bad idea to grab the rain gear. You may not need it, but better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, as I always like to think. So stay dry out there, stay safe, and I will see you all on the next one. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Combs.